Remember that song from Pinocchio? Leave well enough alone. Leave well enough alone. I'm good enough and strong enough, so why should I have to roam? I might as well leave well enough alone. No, nobody remembers that song because it, has to do with today's. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, coming to you live, 11:17 in the morning on this hazy 22nd day of September in the year of our Lord, Steve the Cat, who is hiding underneath the curtain, pretending I can't see him because he knows he's not supposed to be under the curtain. I see you. And we almost made it an entire week without Wizards of the Coast doing something dumb. After last week and the whole Fendelver thing, you'd figure, okay, well, maybe we can go 1 week. We can go 1 week. It's at the end of September. We're about to go into Halloween. The year's pretty much over. We should just focus our attention on getting this thing actually done so we can present it next year, right? Right? No, of course not. Not for them. It's pretty passive week. Anybody else, you'd be like, oh my God, how dare they do that? Wizards of the Coast, we're kind of getting to the point where we're starting to develop an armor. We're starting to develop the level of just, I don't care anymore. There's just, I've run out of spoons to give in my level of, I can't even believe they did this, I think we're all just starting to develop a much thicker hide when it comes to them. So now when they do something, we're kind of no longer really outraged anymore. We're just like, yeah, I guess that makes sense for them. I mean, I know some people were upset about the whole safety tools and Fendelver thing, but it's funny that the main thing about the Fendelver safety tools wasn't that they had them. It was where they put them. And then we had the thing about, the new release of playtest number 7 and how they're going backwards now, and everything they said for the past year, you can just ignore. And the main people who were upset about the choice were the actual 5e fans. Everybody else was just like, oh, wow, I guess that makes sense for them. It's not like they haven't done anything like this before. So it should come as no surprise that we have a rumor and we have news on the next book, the last book. No, wait, it's not the last book. The second to last book, Sigil and the Outlands, the Planescape book. We finally have some complete, maybe information that might resolve any last minute confusion we have over whether this is going to be a thing or not. But first, a rumor. So there's a rumor going around that they are going to get rid of Vicious Mockery, the Bard ability, because it's Vicious Mockery. And the idea of casting a spell that mocks people might offend people. Oh my God, that spell's offensive. You're doing your mom jokes to monsters? That is so inappropriate. Get rid of that. Now, that's not true as of now, but in regards to the person who started that rumor, stop it. Because Wizards of the Coast is going to hear that and go, yeah, you're right. We should get rid of that spell. It is condescending and insulting. How dare bards have an ability to call people names? Calling people names is bad. Now, I love Vicious Mockery. It's one of my favorite spells because whenever somebody cast it in my game, I said they had to say at least a your mama joke. And 9 out of 10 times, nobody could. Nobody could come up with an insult, Like one guy in the all years that I had bards using Vicious Mockery, one guy was able to do a couple of your mama jokes or whatever for Vicious Mockery. Most of the times people were like, yeah, you're dumb. I roll a D4. So if after 14 years, nobody was offended, much less had enough imagination to come up with a decent dozens for Vicious Mockeries, I don't really think there is much to worry about. So, moving on to Planescape. We have a sneak preview. Now, based upon the disappointment of Spelljammer being a space-based game about spaceships in space, lacking any actual rules about spaceships, I suppose the first thing we would want in a book about planar travel and multiple planes is rules for planar travel, especially since Radiant Citadel, which was basically Deep Space Nine in D&D or Babylon 5 in D&D, didn't really include any rules about the other planes that were connected to Radiant Citadel. So hopefully that's in here. It is a slipcase 3 book with a double-sided poster map that's already been told is useless. And then it has the 96-page setting book for Sigil and the Outlands, an introductory adventure called Turn of Fortune's Wheels, a 64-page bestiary coming to a total of 256 pages. Let's see, 96 plus 64 is not 200 and, well, let me do my math, but I'm pretty sure that's not 200. But I'm dyslexic, so we'll have the calculator. Make sure 96 plus 64 equals 160. Now, I guess they forgot to, so that's including the Sigil and the Outlands, the adventure, and the planar book. It's 256. As opposed to Spelljammer, which came only to an entire total of 192 pages divided evenly among 3 books. And they say this is a good thing. They say this is a good thing that Wizards added more pages to divide amongst the 3 books. So, yeah. Now, subtract art, since we know that at least 70 pages of that 256 is art, because by this guy's math, there's a couple pages missing. So let's just go 256 minus 70. Yeah, what do you know? It comes to about what I totaled up. So subtract appendixes, introduction, and the art, and it's about 180 pages of actual product, most of that being 64 pages of monsters. What is Planescape? Well, we know what Planescape is. It was a really great setting that they never did anything with. Will it have the Lady of Pain? Yes, the Lady of Pain will be back. I don't know if she'll be the dumbed down, politically correct, safe version of the Lady of Pain, or the Lady of Pain we know and love from the past. We'll have the monsters. We have the map that people are already saying sucks. We'll have some information on the factions that inhabit Sigil, but I don't know how much you can do with only 96 pages, of 70% of which is going to be art. And it's going to be this full page art shit, right? I mean, it's not like teeny little pictures in the corner. It's, here's some information on a building. Here's an entire page wasted with a picture of that building. Flip the page. Here's some information on a sword. Here's an entire page with a piece of art depicting that sword. Yeah, now. And then we will have information on the gate towns. Hey, you think they'll mention Radiant Citadel as one of the gate towns? People are already making a connection to it between this and Radiant Citadel, in that, hey, it sounds a lot like Radiant Citadel. Then there's the adventure. How about actual rules on planescaping? Yeah. So we've got a crappy map. We've got monsters. We've got an adventure. And we've got a 30-page guide on Sigil, the Lady of Pain, the factions of Sigils, the gates, i.e. what we should have done with Radiant Citadel, but we didn't. And then add to that at least, 10 pages of safety tools, 70 pages of art. And you have... Do we have a price for this yet? No, we don't. Let's see if it's on Amazon yet. Sometimes they'll put a placeholder on Amazon ahead of time. All right, so Amazon is holding it at $60 plus shipping and handling. Now let's just go to drive-through. Let's see. For $15, you could get the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons campaign book, PDF of Planescape. So if you want to get the original Planescape setting campaign book, $15 for a 30, 60, 90, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 180, 180, 90, 200, 210, 200, 220 pages of information on Planescape, the entire Planescape campaign setting book, broken down to a PDF for $15, or you could spend $60 for this. Now, yes, a PDF, but I mean, if we go on eBay and look for it, I don't know, but I have a feeling it's probably going to be less than $60. Let's see. You can get the complete collection of everything that was ever made for $239. You can get pre-owned box for $180. You can get it for $68. Here's one for $18. So yeah, if you want to get the original solid, it's going to cost you $60 to $80 to $100. If you want to get a PDF of everything, it's $15. Or you could spend $60 to get this. And for this, you get a DM screen, a mediocre map, a book of monsters, a brief introduction to Sigil and the factions and the gates, actual rules for planescaping though, or how to make your own gates, or what happens when you travel from this dimension to this dimension and like gravity and everything changes, you know, things that you would want, kind of like spaceship rules and Spelljammer. I'm just saying, I don't know, I'm an idiot, right? What do I know what I'm talking about? It doesn't sound like that's covered. So it kind of just sounds like every other setting that they've done, with just a mishmash of bare minimum to resemble an actual product, and then art and safety tools and articles. And then there'll be hundreds and hundreds of articles about how to play a Griffin Thinkabiff in Planescape, how to travel through Sigil and not piss people off. I mean, if you expected anything else, I'm sorry. It's Wizards of the Coast. We know they're gonna do the bare minimum. We know that in the perfect universe, what this should have been, but it isn't. So we know what we're gonna get. And anybody who's disappointed and upset after all this time, well, then you deserve it for expecting anything less. I expected absolutely nothing from this product. There's the part of my brain going, well, this is what you should have done. Since what you're trying to do in 2024 is X, it would have made sense that Planescape 2023 did Y. But I also knew 90% of the rest of my brain was going, no, by now you should know that you're going to be disappointed. And it's going to be the exact same BS they've been doing for the past 12 years. And I'm not let down. But make up your own mind. These reviews are up all over the interweb. You can decide for yourself whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I leave it to you because, as we know, I am an ineffectual, despicable, deceitful POS who with no imagination, no education, no experience, white belt scrub DM. So don't listen to me. Make up your own mind. Read one of the 37 articles that have been put up already about Planescape and come to your own conclusion. But that's not all. Oh no. We've got more Wizards of the Coast. We've got so much Wizards of the Coast. We have to do a complete separate video because Wizards of the Coast put the stuff for the VTT up this week, but it's not on the VTT. It's on D&D Beyond, and it's awful. It is awful. So let's talk about that in a separate video. I'm going to give you guys a break before we dive into that. But wait for it. It's coming because God forbid. If you appreciate listening to me badmouth Wizards of the Coast, let me know. If you prefer I talk about something else, let me know. I'm going to wait till this construction ends before we continue today. So let's take a break. Enjoy. Go outside. It's sunny. It's spring or fall, or I don't know. I'm in Planescape. I don't know what time of year it is. Don't listen to me. I love you guys. Get off my land.